What is up, guys? California Phantom. I'm here with the Autel Smart Controller in another episode and part of this series to show you and to take you along with me on a commercial shoot. I'm going to run down how this controller and this platform might benefit you in a commercial shoot versus other devices, namely the TripTech, namely the Live Deck, how this may benefit you even more. I want to run over how to have a successful shoot. That involves the maintenance, that involves the setup. I'm going to run through everything real quick for you guys to have a successful commercial shoot, so come along with me. So I wanted to take you along for a typical commercial setup on a day. This one's a major fast food chain who's doing some proprietary research that I really can't get into because I signed agreements not to, so this is more just like basically the setup of it. It's the first time I'm going to be using the smart controller on a commercial shoot. So what I want to just go into is as far as like prep. I live in California. It gets a little rough, so I cannot tell you how important it is to have a good quality body camera. I don't use it when I use the headset. I rarely use this headset. It's more for informational stuff. But the body cam I'm always wearing. I just fire it on. You know, it lasts 6 hours of footage and just starts automatically recording in 4K. I just make sure I see that record button hit, and I can attach it to my chest rig. We're going to be doing a hover mission. Again, I can't go into too much as far as the details on it, but we're basically setting it up. What I want to tell you is preparation is king. So when you're setting up something like this, you want to get here very early. You want to scout the location for the best possible setup position so that you're always going to keep a visual line of sight of your drone. I think that's paramount. You obviously want your serial and your phone number listed on your drone in case something happens. You know, that's obviously keeping legally compliant. The phone number isn't, but it helps for people who are non-drone people to be able to search this out. As a little side note, we've just about completed the screen protector on this. I don't have a URL yet. I'll be dropping it on my previous video as well as this video. We should be having it very, very soon. We're having slight fitment issues because this is a custom cut, custom size that Autel won't provide me the exact dimensions. So the company that is doing this is having to do it all themselves. So it's taking a little bit longer than usual, but we're going to get it done and get it out to you guys. After you've scoped your location, I'll just take a quick pass real quick. You want to make sure you're free from any obstacles. You want to make sure you don't have any power lines or trees that are going to get in your way. You want to do your pre-flight check. So this is something that's most common I'm seeing on this YouTube videos and people complaining in the forums, and that is the drone having issues with cracking. Now, the thing I can't suggest enough to you guys is when you're swapping the batteries out, turn it over kind of like a baby. You know, turn it over and let it set in your hand and pull the tabs and pull out the battery. You know, during my examination, I'm looking for swelling, I'm looking for leaking, I'm looking for corrosion at the contact points. I'm not seeing anything with this battery because I've already done a pre-flight check prior to arriving at this site, but you know, it doesn't hurt to do it more than once. I'm checking for any cracking on the battery frame. Again, swelling, contact points, none of that's a problem with this drone. And when you put the battery in and out this way, you're going to avoid having hull cracking. So the other thing you want to avoid doing is when you do have it down on the ground, people like to pinch it to pick it up like this, and that's where you're getting the cracking on these fins. Scoop it up like a cat or an animal or something like this and rotate it. You know, you're not really applying any force pinching it. If you avoid doing that, you won't have any cracking. This drone is an original day one pre-order, and I have no cracking on it, no issues whatsoever. This drone gets used constantly. I do have a secondary and a third drone that I use. All right, so positive interaction. I just had somebody walk up on me, thank God. They were a positive interaction. I get so many negative interactions, why I have the body camera, but guy was a great guy. No problem explaining this platform, but getting back to what I was saying is you just want to avoid sideways pressure on this as much as possible. When you're doing the pre-flight checks, you just want to check for cracking around the motor mounts. You want to make sure the motors spin freely, that there's no debris inside of them. Again, these are things I already checked. You know, gimbal's operating great. No cracking on the body and the arm wells. Like, you know, this is sort of the stuff that'll give you catastrophic failures I'm looking for. I don't have any cracking around the motor mounts, nothing around the arms, nothing inside. I neglected to mention inside the body terminals. You want to check in here as well for corrosion, any sort of leakage around here. I don't know if you can see this with the lighting the way it is. We're dealing with some fires here, so if you can see, it looks like it's cloudy, but it's actually fire smoke from far north in Chico right now. So yeah, so you know, cracking, motor mounts, freely spinning. Make sure you take that gimbal off when you're firing this up. You don't, you know, your drone only has a few seconds before it burns the gimbal up if you happen to leave the gimbal motor on. You want to set for ND. Now, it's really smoky here, and the client that I am actually flying this for isn't seeking out cinematic footage, if that makes any sense. They're doing this more for research. And so I'm actually gonna have the luxury of not running NDs and actually just leaving the settings auto. So that's something rare. They only want 1080p footage, so we're just gonna leave it no NDs, set to auto. We gotta make sure it's not filming in 4K, it's filming in 1080p, and they want the frame rate at 30. So we're just gonna give them what they want, and we're gonna use the new Smart Controller to do it. This again will be the first time utilizing this Smart Controller on booting, so I'm looking forward to it, and I hope this tutorial helps you guys when you're doing your commercial 107 jobs. You know, safe spot. You don't want to make sure you're not hitting any power lines, or that you're not going to get any issues with running into anything, and that's really the paramount thing. So I'm just going to get this guy hooked up. Smart Controller has the button on it, so this is listed as the primary. So we're just going to hook this guy up, and then I have the clips as secondaries, so we're just going to hook it to the same spots. All right, let this guy hang. So one of the things they're doing, I don't know if I can officially tell you guys this, but they want to sync this video for the exact, they want to sync this footage with the exact time. So I have this app where I have a clock in it. It's in there somewhere, and it gives me the specific time as a full screen. Maybe it's under drone. Yeah, there it is, digital clock. So they want the specific time so I could film this before I take off. And what I'll be doing is I'll start the drone's camera, show the time, and then take off from there. So that's the goal. I'm supposed to be starting at 12:30, so I'm another 30 minutes early on this, so we'll take it from there. One thing I did not mention, or I failed to mention, is props. So on these, they're the nubs or whatever are on the actual prop itself. So you want to just take off each prop, make sure you have no failures around these nubs, any cracking or discoloration. You want to rule out any potential issues. Same thing with the rivets. You want to make sure there's no cracking that is spiraling out from the riveted areas. This goes for the top and the bottom. So these, again, have already been checked. These are the quiet props for the Evo 2. Fantastic. But yeah, no issues on all of them. They've already been pre-flight checked before I got here. So I like to check the props, especially in very good lighting. So before I went, I made sure I got a flashlight on my desk and individually check them. So after this, we'll go straight to the flight itself. They want to sync flight data to the time, no big deal there. So we're going to be recording that. The main thing I just want to say is that the other thing about setup is you want to make sure that you're not operating over people. So the flight path that I chose to do is not going to go over anybody. It's going to go over an empty portion of the parking lot and sit directly over the subject property itself. So something I didn't mention, but is very important. Anybody who you're flying over has to have waivers. You have to do it legally and safely, and if you don't, you make it very, very difficult on the whole community when an issue arises. And that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hit that like and subscribe down below if you haven't already, letting me know if you're gonna get the screen protector once I give you that URL. Are you gonna get this tablet? Maybe you're sticking with Live Deck, or you already got a Trip Tech. I love hearing from you guys, always down below. We'll catch you on the next adventure.